Hi, this is Yvette Francino in our third episode of season three, and this is about exercise and happiness. We're talking about action for happiness, which has 10 keys, and the third being exercise. And so I invited my friend Sarah, who is always very motivational when it comes to exercise. I met her from Walk to Connect, an organization that I love, that I'm part of, and she was leading a walk, and she just is an inspirational coach when it comes to exercise and happiness. And so I'm going to let her introduce herself more and tell us what she's involved with. So go for it, Sarah.
Hello, thank you so much. I am Sarah Schwallier. Like you said, I'm a personal trainer and wellness coach. I call myself a nature walking health coach just because I wanted to do the thing that I love to do and pair it with the thing that so many people have trouble doing, which is accountability and staying moving. So I try to add a lot of playfulness and fun in what we do. And like you said, I have my own business where I'm a personal trainer, but then we also have Walk to Connect, where we're just trying to get people out walking and connecting with each other.
Yeah.
That's who I
So
am.
tell us about your personal business. How can we find you, and I know you do stuff on Facebook, and you're doing just a lot of different things. So tell us about your personal business and about a little bit more about Walk to Connect as well.
Sure, I would be. I think as any trainer or any coach just wants people to be healthy. And so I have an online accountability group that all people can join. You don't even have to work with me. It's just this place to share what you're doing daily as this accountability tool and saying, I went out for my walk. I did this. So I have a kind of a fun, it's just to be real, to be who you are, to say, I failed and I ate some cake this week. It is not my birthday. Um, so I do have this kind of catch-all where we can just have this place of community together. But I also work one-on-one with people. So I like to work one-on-one in short time frames, just to kind of have small goals that we tackle together and build long-term habits over time.
Hmm.
Um, I've helped people lose 150 pounds or that last 10 pounds that are like hanging on for some reason.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I choose my clients carefully because I want to make sure that I'm the right coach for people, as I know it's hard to lose weight or to get stronger. I work a lot with balance, building your core strength, building kind of functional movement. So how your body is supposed to be moving, and maybe some um, orthopedic things that might be getting in the way. So helping people get through injuries or improving their structure. Um, and then with Walk to Connect, again, it's this um, catch all of we should be building communities of people walking together. So yeah, we have so much more with Walk to Connect in the future. Yeah.
Well, one thing I notice about you, Sarah, is that you really do a lot of things that beyond exercise that add to happiness. And nature, for example, is known to really add to our happiness factor, and connection, social connection. And the fun, the sense of fun and playfulness that I know you bring a lot to the different things you do. I loved Walktober. So Walktober was an event that the Walk to Connect group um, initiated, and I know you were a big part of that. But tell the audience a little bit what Walktober was about.
Yeah, Walktober, oh goodness, it was so fun this year. We wanted to just give people a daily challenge, so a daily thing to think about, to set your expectations for each day, to maybe go on a little scavenger hunt or to have a little meditation, and just setting these little permissions, these little invitations for you to do personally, but then to also invite others to do them as well. So, like you said, connection to others, connection to nature, and connection to self. And how are we doing them on a routine basis, and having fun with our bodies, having fun with how we were designed to be built, and just opening that door for playfulness, which I'm a huge proponent of, and getting people to commit to the movement that they want to be doing, but maybe don't follow through on what they say they should be doing.
Now, is walking your go-to exercise place, or do you do other forms of exercise? I know I've seen you doing, is it handstand or headstand?
Yeah, I'm attempting that. I'm practicing, I'm calling it stretching because I'm not very good at yoga daily. So I'm trying to do fun things that would encourage me to stretch or do more yoga, um, centering things. I love walking, and I would say I like walking with people more than I like walking by myself. However, I do carve out time to walk by myself as a more of a meditative centering thing. I would say walking is my primary working out right now, especially with COVID. I'm not going to the gym. But I play beach volleyball, and I think that that's my like joy when I think of getting out in the warm sun and playing beach volleyball. My heart just explodes, and I would say that there was nothing that fills my joy level as much as just playing a game of beach volleyball.
That's cool. Yeah, I like dancing a lot. That's probably my most joyful exercise. But I do love walking for a lot of reasons too. And I mean, it's just so easy. You can just, as long as you have shoes, you can just get out. Oh, you don't even have to have shoes if you're walking around your house. But uh, I got pretty addicted to the um, when I got the Fitbit of the 10,000 step challenge. So it's kind of like, this is sort of one of my little OCD like kind of habits, I think, is I get on a streak. And if I get on a streak of something, I don't want to break it. And especially if an app or something is gamifying it for me and telling me I have the streak, then I just keep going. And so I really got in the habit of walking and getting my 10,000 steps every day. But the Zumba, you can do from home, or dancing in general. You can put on a YouTube video and do aerobic dancing or whatever. And it's nice that that counts as steps as well. So I still can get my 10,000 steps if the weather is bad and I'm indoors one day. But I was very proud of myself today, even though we were snow out here. I bundled up and still walked outside. And so again, there's something kind of invigorating about kind of doing it in any weather, even when it's bad weather. So
Yes, yes. I love the 10,000 steps. The Fitbit, I know, kind of coined that, how many we should be getting in, but it's such a nice benchmark. And whether yours is 7,000 or 10,000, or some people shoot for 20,000 steps,
yeah.
um, I think it's such a nice like indicator for me to see. Like last week, I think I met like 5 or 6,000 steps each day, and I'm normally at 10,000 to 12,000 pretty consistently. And I just saw my happiness just slightly declining, right? I just felt more like blah.
Mhm.
So I really do like this idea of how am I going to get it in? There, whether it's raining or snowing or I have a headache or whatever it is, I'm going to do it because I know it's this routine, this consistency that keeps me at this happiness level, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I love that. I love
And that
that's
was true for me with October. It's funny that in January, I haven't had much. Maybe I just have been in a very good mood come January again. This just New Year motivation or whatever, despite the fact that it's cold and I was supposed to be in Florida, but I don't know. I just have been doing all these little habits that are supposed to increase the happiness, and I guess it's working because I am having an easy time with getting out and getting the steps. But in October, um, there were days where I was kind of feeling sluggish and feeling like, oh, I don't really want to do it. But I kind of forced myself to do it again because of the challenge. And I'd set that intention thanks to you and your like the first day, let's set an intention. And And it does, it changes your mood. And I do think that that's one of the real key things to remember when I know I've been doing all this studying about happiness, and they do say that exercise works better than an antidepressant for many people.
Mhm.
And I could see that being true because it absolutely is a mood enhancer. And even more so if you can do it with somebody else, you can have kind of this therapy session. So then you get both your social connection and your mood enhancement, and hopefully the sun and nature, like you said, if you're doing whatever exercise you're doing outside. But I just think getting moving, really, they have shown biologically that this affects our brain and our mood.
Yeah.
And so it is, I would say, probably, definitely one of the most important parts of happiness and mental health. And so,
And easiest,
yeah.
right? It's so, I mean, if you
Well,
have
not
the
for everybody
ability.
though. I mean,
Well,
that's a good segue into a question of somebody that is having health issues or
mhm,
an injury or something. I think often there already is this bit of a depression that you can't do what you normally do. I mean, everybody is kind of having some of that with the COVID hit. And but when you have an injury, you also can't do what you are used to doing. And sometimes it could even be something permanent where you have to give up a sport because of
mhm.
um, the injury is too bad, or what, for whatever reason. So, what tips do you have for people that are struggling with mobility issues, for example, um, or illness or injury, how they can still exercise? Do you have
Yeah,
suggestions for that?
yeah, that's a great, I mean, I think that's such a great question, right? I mean, you brought up the what happens when you were an athlete and you lose or you have a surgery or you can never go back. And my I guess my first thing I would say is what can you do, right? And then maybe even readdress what your intentions are. So as an athlete, you're like, well, I can't do this anymore. So you focusing on the bad. If you reframe that, so a lot in coaching, we talk about reframing.
Mhm.
What would that look like if you were to say, what can I do? What would be beneficial for my body? And I know a lot of mental health. I struggled with panic attacks for the longest time. And people with depression really have this hard time of digging themselves out of this I can't, this just kind of overwhelming feeling of just heaviness or a weight on them. And so it's that small, what can I do, what can I do right now?
Mhm.
And I'm a huge advocate of the small things built up over time end up being big things.
Mhm.
And just training your body to walk 10 minutes, 5 minutes, walking in place at your desk. I work with a lot of 55 and older people who have gone through surgeries or hip replacements, and instead of talking about what they used to do as an athlete, we're talking about where they are today and how we can design this joy and happiness around their bodies and what it can do, and
Mhm.
then help train it in a fun way to to make that feeling fit where you want to be again. I mean, my mom is in her 60s and she still plays competitive beach volleyball. She's
Mhm.
amazing. And she doesn't let anything stop her. She's just like, and I've also watched movies like the inspirational I forget her name right now, I'm sorry, where she lost her arm in a swimming tragedy, where to a shark bite, right? And then she was up 3 months later and she was back into surfing full time, and it's just amazing. She had to relearn so many different things. She had a disadvantage, but she still used what she loved, had fun with it, and set those steps in motion to not let it define her and her happiness.
Yeah, it's so inspirational when you hear those kinds of stories and you recognize again that you mourn the loss of what you used to have, but that will open a door to being able to do something different. And
Yeah.
I know I had to give up running. I had back problems, and um, in even, I still for the longest time felt like walking seems so much less than running. It feels so like not a real workout. But I am recognizing, or I have recognized over time, that it's a lot better for my body in many ways, and it is better. It is probably the best form of exercise, and you know, it has ended up being really great for my health. So I, you know, I don't even know what it was about running why I mean, I liked it, but I think I like walking more for so many reasons. If I'm not, when I was running, the whole time I was running, I pretty much was thinking, how much longer do I have to do this? Or, it was painful. And I think there was a certain, I don't know if it was ego related or whatever, of just being able to do that. But with walking, again, you can enjoy the scenery along the way. You can have the opportunity to be connecting with someone else, to be able to stop and take a picture, not worry about your time, and so many things that ended up being um, better, really, than running. And so,
Running, they do such a great job of making it a competition. And I think that I mean, with the 5Ks and 10Ks and setting PRs, I think that that's what's really like you're challenging yourself, and it's fun, right? To challenge yourself and to beat things. And
right.
so I think that that's when people say it's just walking. I'm
Mhm.
like, it drives me nuts. I'm like, I lost over 100 pounds just walking. I mean, it's a pretty big deal to just walk every day consistently. I'm also like a terrible coach for runners because I'm like, you can just walk. Save your knees. And they're like, I really so I'm just kidding. But
Really?
I
Well,
I love that runner's high though, the feeling that you get, those endorphins that your body's sending to your brains of just happiness um, do you get that walking? Maybe not quite as much, but you can train your brain to still give you that release. At Walk to Connect, we say life at 3 miles per hour. So you're slowing your body down to really feel nourished where you are.
yes. Well, and I think you are right about with running. Again, it can be bad for your knees. There's a lot of things. You can be anaerobic because you're trying to, beat a time. And I don't want to knock running. I mean,
Yeah.
there certainly, I loved it. And like you said, I think it was a little bit of the competitive nature of me and the gaming of it, like you said. But you can do those kinds of things, and you do those kinds of things. I mean, again, with trying to do my 10,000 streak, it's not a difficult athletic challenge, but it is a challenge. It does mean that you have to get out and do it every day. Um, and there's also other things that I know I wasn't, when I was being a runner, I wasn't giving attention to stretching or weight building or strengthening. And, again, there's just a lot of different sports out there that, and one thing about being really bad at something is then it is such another high to improve. So
Mhm.
I was a terror when I started running. I just went to this rally about anybody can do a marathon, and they were just so I was all excited about that I was going to do a marathon. This was ridiculous because then I went to and you raised money for the marathon. So I sent all my friends a note saying, I'm going to run a marathon and, for team and training and raise money for leukemia and lymphoma. So I started getting people sending in, yay, you. And then I went to the first training, which was a 5 mile run around Boulder Reservoir. And I went in like my old high school sweats, and there were all these seasoned runners there and everything. And like after like running for like 5 minutes, I was like, I can't do this. And I started, I was like, what have I gotten myself into? And I was just, and I was like, well, I can't back out because I told everybody, and I've already started getting, donations. So I just kept with it. But and eventually I got better, and that was the high. And so like my first that I did my first boulder in like an hour and 7 minutes or something like that. And then like the next year I did it in under an hour. And the next year I cut another minute on off. And I was like saying, by the time I'm 80, I'm going to be in the Olympics. Yay, me, I am just so fast. And so I just started having this competitive feeling of, because I was improving. And I think, again, when I had to stop, and by that time I wasn't improving every year anymore anyway. But I was just like, there's something else I can do that I can, and that started to be push-ups. I mean, when I started doing my first push-up, I was like, I can't do this, but you just do one, and then the next week you try to do a couple more. And so I'm to 50 push-ups now, and I feel really good about that. And
Oh,
but and I still was able to kind of just improve every week. And I think, again, whatever you're doing, you just, like you said, you have to kind of start small and not feel too embarrassed about how bad you are when you're starting. And then it does give you such a nice high and a great set of endorphins or whatever when you start to get better at whatever it is.
yeah.
So
Yeah, that's exactly this, like, just start, right? And you don't compare your beginning to somebody else's middle or their athleticism. I think that having that drive of just saying, I want something more. And so many people are like, "Oh, I don't have a thing," "I don't play beach volleyball. I'm not a runner," and so they're, like, searching for this thing, and you don't have to have a thing. You
right.
can be 80 years old and go pick up a basketball and try to shoot some hoops, right? I mean, I think that that's what's kind of fun about playing is you don't have to be good at it. It's helpful for your body. As a personal trainer, I do help people with their function, right? So I do wanna make sure people are functionally able to shoot a basketball if we're going to go shoot. But really supporting your body in a way that isn't just depleting until time runs out. It's this, how do I keep my body strong and well and supporting this freedom of doing the things that might give me joy, right?
Yeah, right. And I know I found that it has a lot to do with what you eat and your sleep that you're getting, and your mental state in general, as far as how much stress is in your life and all that kind of thing. When you can kind of just have all those working together, um, it just gives you energy. And I know I will never be a great athlete. I mean, I just am not a don't have natural talent in athletics. But again, the good thing about that is that I can see improvement if I work on a particular skill, and that's really exciting.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and I think another good thing about not being a natural athlete is, unlike a lot of these people who just had their heyday in high school and when they were young, then there is that sense of mourning when you can no longer do what you used to do. And so I guess I'm lucky in that I never was able to do very well to begin with. So um,
I
I,
really I wish I could redesign school system athletics because an athlete to me is not excelling at the 4 sports at school. It's like to me, you are an athlete and you are, I mean, if you're doing push-ups, 50 push-ups, why aren't you an athlete, right? And so how could we reframe something like that so all people can see themselves as an athlete and to say like, I am in tune with how my body works and how it functions, and that's what makes me competitive or competing in my athleticism. So
I think
I
that is so true. I
wish
agree.
I could
When I was in um, s- el- um, school when I was in high school and middle school, and we had to have PE, and I was picked last for the sports, and I just had such low self-esteem,
Mhm.
and it really does affect you through the years. And when I did do that marathon, you know, I was started out bad, but then they do, when you go to the races, you know, they say athletes here, and I remember being like, oh, I'm an athlete, you know. And it just really does affect your mindset and your image, and recognizing, yeah, if you are out there exercising, you're an athlete.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I do, I wish I could go back to those years of, you know, in school, and not have been so intimidated by it all. But oh well, the best we could do, I get, hopefully, is to inspire other people like you do, to feel good about themselves, and just get out there and do it. And it's great, great for us at all ages. Find what you can do. Any final words for our listeners about how to live a great Carpe Diem life, live your life fully?
Mhm. Your life fully. I am I would say playfulness. I would say have fun, and if you're walking, you know, have fun with it. Pick up sticks, throw rocks, walk on logs, you know, let that kind of childlike curiosity take you and encourage you, and let that kind of uh, free you to doing new and more things, and take care of your body in a way that's um, nourishing of where you are today in a playful way. I think that that's the number one thing that I love is my mom always played with me. We were just outside and being curious. And so letting that curiosity explore, whether you are 7 or 70, and really just allowing uh, that question mark to be, you know, playful and fun and taking care of your body.
Yeah, love that. Thank you so much, Sarah.